A group of researchers studied self-control in 1,000 people from birth until the age of 32 years and found that people with more self-control have higher socioeconomic status and income, more wealth, and better health. More self-control also reduced the chance of becoming a criminal, a drug addict, a single parent, and even becoming depressed. It is worth it to understand how self-control works and how to improve it. Self-control can be defined as the ability to align one's behavior with personally valued goals and standards in light of certain kinds of motivational conflicts. Following the work of Craver and Scheer, we can use the Cybernetic Model to identify 3 parts of self-control. From the definition, we get the first part: setting goals and standards. This includes everything from personal values like being honest and honorable to specific standards like planning to work 10 hours every day or to wake up at 5 a.m. or avoid eating sugar. Second is to align behavior to standards. This requires monitoring. Monitoring is done by observing the actual behavior, like working 8 hours today, and comparing it to your standards, the plan to work 10 hours every day, and recognizing when your behavior matches your standards and when it doesn't. Third is to maintain or change your behavior to stay aligned with the standards. If you succeed at maintaining behaviors when they are aligned with the standards, like continuing to work 10 hours per day as planned, and you succeed at changing behavior to match standards when they're different, like increasing work from 8 to 10 hours to match your standards, then you have self-control. So the 3 parts of the Cybernetic Model are standards, monitoring, and maintaining or changing behavior to match standards. Let's dig deeper. There are critical moments where you are both motivated to violate your standards and, at the same time, motivated to uphold them. That is motivational conflict. To understand motivational conflict, let's use Metcalfe and Michel's classical hot-cool model of motivation. Consider this. A man is working on his computer, and an ad pops up with an attractive woman in it. A motivational drive is triggered, and he's attracted to watching an adult movie. This is the hot system in action. Before that man does anything, another system in his mind starts making him think that he should find a real person. His values don't align with watching an adult movie. It will hurt his psychology. He will not feel masculine after doing this. That is the cool system in action. Note that your standards are yours. You decide what they are. This is just an example. Think of the hot system as passionate and impulsive, and the cool system as rational and calculated. These 2 systems are not always at odds, but when they are, you experience a motivational conflict. During a motivational conflict, you have the option to use willpower to follow your standards and exercise self-control, or you can indulge and violate your standards, showing low self-control. One way to improve self-control is to improve willpower. Let's dig deeper. Many studies have shown that willpower can be consumed or depleted, like Baumster and colleagues in 2020 or Hager in 2010. These researchers conducted experiments where participants are randomly divided into 2 groups. The first group is assigned a task that requires a lot of self-control, or the depletion task, and the second, a neutral task that does not need self-control. Immediately after both groups complete their tasks, they're asked to complete a new task, or outcome task, that does require self-control. The first group that had to use self-control on the first task performed worse on the second task compared to the second group that had to use self-control only on the second task. This shows that willpower can be depleted. Just like a muscle, it can get tired. This phenomenon is called ego depletion. This can be used to improve self-control in 2 ways. First, consider conserving your willpower during the day for the more important tasks. For example, if you have a sensitive meeting with your boss at the end of the day, consider relaxing before the meeting and not scheduling a stressful client meeting earlier that day. Second, increase the amount of willpower you have. Many researchers showed that willpower is actually like a muscle. Training it, then resting it can make it stronger. In numerous experiments, participants were instructed to engage in everyday tasks that required self-control, like improving posture, regulating mood, and monitoring eating habits. After only 2 weeks, they were tested and showed improvement in the amount of willpower they had by experiencing less ego depletion. Returning to the hot-cool model, we can find other ways to improve self-control besides improving willpower, like using triggers. One way is called if-then planning, or implementation intention. With this method, you would anticipate existing triggers or create new ones, then plan a better way to respond. Imagine a person that wants to go to the gym right after work, but when he gets home, he starts debating himself about going. I didn't sleep well enough, I'm too tired, I'm hungry, I should train only when I'm rested so I don't injure myself, and so on. He convinces himself not to go to the gym. To prevent this from happening, the next night before sleeping, he explicitly commits to going to the gym. He states, "If I come home from work, I will get my gym clothes and head to the gym immediately." He also commits to not debating himself about this. Although this is very simple, researchers have found that this type of if-then planning improves self-control when done before the trigger and motivational conflict occurs. Consider using if-then planning to improve your self-control. The if represents an opportunity or obstacle, and the then part represents an action or a response. Returning to the cybernetic model, monitoring yourself more often was also found to improve self-control. In a 24-month weight loss trial, experimenters had participants weigh themselves either monthly, weekly, or daily, and found that the more the participants weighed themselves, the more weight they lost by the end of 24 months. In a similar experiment, researchers also showed that weighing yourself daily prevents weight gain, in addition to helping you lose the weight. This means you can increase self-control by monitoring yourself against your standards more often. Pick a standard for yourself, like limiting the time you spend watching TV or internet sites to a maximum of 1 hour per day. Start a timer on your phone whenever you watch, and write down how much time you spend on these activities each day. I have at least 5 more scientifically backed methods to improve self-control to share with you in upcoming videos. Subscribe and turn on notifications. See you next time.